220 Fifth Avenue, under the tutelage of Steve Roth, is continuing strong. You can see here, it's almost done on the exterior. What a great job they're doing. Now, as a reminder, Steve Roth views this as his own personal project. So he's actually interviewed all the prospective condominium owners of this building because he wants it to be more like a family building. You can see the great job that's being done here, even at the very top. Now he is taking a lot of attention to, he's making a lot of attention to detail, which makes this a superb building. So 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 50 years from now, this will be one of the preeminent buildings of New York. And he knows that. So one of the issues is figuring out who is going to be in the penthouses of 220 Central Park South. Now here, we're just taking a closer view of the workmanship for 220 Central Park South so that the rest of the people in the country can see what's going on and the quality of the work. A lot of effort being made into this building. And it's in an ideal location. It's right in Central Park, in Columbus Circle. So, and right next to Central Park. We'll just take a view to the right to see what the surrounding area looks like. And this is Columbus Circle, one of the most popular areas of the city, and right next to the Time Warner building, which also in its day was one of the big attractions for Columbus Circle. This Time Warner building actually, in fact, helped change all of Columbus Circle. And about 25 years ago, there was another building called the Trump Tower, Trump International Hotel and Tower. Now, this is right diagonally across from where the 220 Central Park South is, but this used to be the headquarters of a motion picture company until they converted it from an office building to hotel and residential towers. A lot of famous people have apartments in this Trump Hotel, Trump International Hotel and Tower. And we'll just take another view around. And again, this is Columbus Circle. This again, Time Warner building. Under the Giuliani administration of New York, they saw this area change from a place that was called the Coliseum to this Time Warner building. It was a big effort. Many different ideas were there. And that white building that you see is actually a museum. There are a lot of developers who wanted to get their hands on that building, but the city decided to let a museum use it in the interim. I'm sure down the road, there'll be some developer 5, 10, 20 years from now who will turn that into a huge tower because the value of that building will be just too great to leave as a museum. And this is an even closer view of 220 Central Park South. This is actually the part of the building that they were able to have on Central Park South. Obviously, there were other buildings already on Central Park South. So just to get this frontage on Central Park South was a dilemma too, because so many people want to do their own development on Central Park South. So these other buildings are just in front of the building of 220 Central Park South. But as you saw, it just keeps going up and up and up and down. And here we go. And let's take a look at the building that's part of that building that is on Central Park South. That is going to be just beautiful. Now, this is where the competition is coming in for who's going to get the penthouse apartments there, because Steve Roth, and he's the chairman of Vornado Real Estate, which is a huge real estate investment trust, as I mentioned earlier, is the prime mover behind this building of 220 Central Park South, and he's very eager to have interesting people in the building. And as I mentioned, he's viewing this building as kind of like a family. So he's interviewing everyone. So there's a prime competition for who's going to get the penthouse apartments on these in this tower here. This is going to be beautiful for whoever gets it and whoever is in this building for 10 years from now, 20 years. This is just the side view, viewing 220 Central Park South from Broadway. It's a beautiful day in New York. Great chance to see the building. And there are so many great shops here on Broadway, like Mason Kaiser, French bakery that has done really, really well. And this is a slightly different perspective from 58th and Broadway. We're looking at the other side of the construction project, equally as nice. I'm sure there'll be many people who will want the views of Central Park, and then there'll be many other people that will want the elevated views on this side to see the highlights of Midtown. So sometimes you're faced with the dilemma when you're purchasing a condominium. Which views do you want? But I think the tenants and the prospective buyers of 220 Central Park South are so affluent that they'll probably buy the entire floor, or they'll buy both the north-facing view and the south-facing view. And I'm sure Steve Roth will have that in mind when he sells the condominium to the prospective buyers. Because what a great way to bring guests over in the evening and to have them see both Central Park and Midtown.